So one Saturday, searching through all of the movies available for free on Amazon Prime, I ran across an old favorite, a 1966 science fiction classic called Fantastic Voyage. Okay, the concept is that during the height of the Cold War, both sides, the communists and the Americans, have perfected miniaturization as an espionage technique. Exactly how or why is never really explained, but it is an important technique. And a scientist who has figured out a way to make it more effective for one side or the other is defecting from them to us. And while he's defecting, he is injured and his life is in danger. And in order to save him, they have to use the very technology of miniaturization to go inside his head and clear a blood clot in his brain. Okay, so the hero is American Agent Grant. He is called into a secret base to be security on the mission inside this guy's head. Um, he is a relatively generic character, but he's played with a reasonable amount of wit and grit that I would almost compare him to, say, the Agent Garrett on Hawaii Five O. He's the lantern jawed but quick witted guy. He's fun. Your villain, well, I won't spoil it, but there's a saboteur on the boat, and as they go inside the bloodstream on a submarine. The saboteur is supposed to be a secret, but you'll figure out who he is almost immediately because he's basically the only guy on the boat who's acting shady. So, you know, not much mystery there. For allies, you have the submarine's captain, who's a Navy man. You have two doctors and one assistant played by Raquel Welch. The sort of thing where if the movie had been made in modern times, Raquel Welch's character probably would have been another doctor. But, you know, that was the 60s. For enemies, well, virtually every natural process of the human body is against them. And so they face all kinds of things from white blood cells to having to pass through the heart and things like that on their way to this guy's brain. The upside of the film is this is fairly fast paced for a 60s sci fi film. There isn't that classic slowness and build to the payoff that used to be used in a lot of sci-fi movies back in the day. Um, it's also fairly well acted for a sci-fi film of the day. This isn't one of those movies that was passed off on the lesser actors that the studios had, under contract. This one was given to some fairly good actors. Um, for the time, the special effects are amazing. For today, they're a little bit campy, but not for 1966. This was intended as the equivalent of a 1966 AAA film. Um, the downside, there are some minor plot holes, some things they got wrong with the human biology and stuff like that are easily ignored, and it's fairly easy to predict who the villain is when it's supposed to be a secret until the very end. Ultimately, this movie is a solid 4 stars. Fantastic Voyage is a true classic of the genre.